views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Hi, and welcome to Good Medicine. I'm Counselor Holly Davis, and we're live on WWDB TV. Good Medicine is here every week, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. And today we're going to talk about motivation. This is the Motivation Show. We've had a few shows in the past that kind of have similar processes and themes. We've had the Happiness Show, the Gratitude Show, the Self-Esteem Show. We've talked about feminism, we've talked about parenting, and today I think the Motivation Show is really in order. I know for me, there are some days I just want to take over the planet and rule the world, and then there's other days, you know, when your want to just doesn't want to. And I believe that's just a human condition. Every single one of us has experienced that, but I'm here to tell you today that you don't have to stay in that place, so stay with us. Today I'm going to give you some references, some resources, some books, some meditations that you can do, and just begin like you're in kindergarten, the 1, 2, 3, the ABC steps of staying motivated. We're going to teach and train our brain how to do it. Now, some people just wake up, roll out of bed, and say, yay, today's the day, I'm going to get going, I'm off on my way. That's Dr. Seuss. But then there's other times when the weather's not cooperating. It's a cold and blustery day. I hate cold and blustery days. You know, you didn't have coffee. There's too much traffic. There's always something that we can find that will dampen the day, if you will. So the trick, the key, the goal, the practice that we can input into our lives is learning how to stay motivated by practicing positivity. That is not a small thing. It is not trite. We know in research, over and over and over again, those people who understand the practice of positive thinking and use it daily are able to defeat, combat, get over, heal from, and release depression and anxiety in their life. So we know that if you're thinking negatively, you're awfulizing, you're putting, it's almost like putting a wet blanket on everything and just generalizing. Bad, not good. I didn't like that. That wasn't appealing to me. You're always thinking about those things, then you are going to have depression. You are not going to be motivated. And lack of motivation, not caring about the things that you used to care about, not being able to sleep as well, or even overeating or undereating when you're not taking care of your hair. Just, I don't want to do my hair today, I'm not washing my hair. Those are signs and symptoms that you need to be motivated and thinking about what can motivate me. Thinking again, what can I do to inspire myself? I love Wayne Dyer, and he said, being inspired is being in spirit. And spirituality is finding those things that make you feel good. And that is a practice that I'm going to teach you how to do today. Some just good old-fashioned cognitive behavioral therapy, how to listen to your thoughts, check in, decide if they're unpleasant or if they're motivational on a regular basis. If you were to take a consensus right now, an analysis, an assessment of yourself, are your thought processes mostly flat, not motivated, uninspired, lackluster, or do you stay motivated most of the time? If you were to take a assessment on yourself. Think about that for a second. Then we're going to take a small break, and when we come back, I'm going to give you some keys and some tools how to stay in that place of motivation all the time, even in the worst circumstances. How to overcome and how to get better with our depression and anxiety and staying motivated just because you are worthy to live a life that is good and full. Just that simple. I'm Holly Davis. Stay with us on Good Medicine.
Hi, this is Hal Bray with Heroes for Autism. Did you know that 70% of children with autism have reported being bullied at one time or another? Kindness, that's the answer.
Welcome back to Good Medicine. I'm Counselor Holly Davis, and you're watching and listening live on WWDBTV.com. And this program is on every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I effort to give you a prescription for your soul every week, that it's something that you can listen to that is an investment in yourself. And today's investment of the self is the motivation show. So what can we do to stay motivated? Because that waxes and wanes for every single human being. Well, I was going to say even kids, but that's probably not true. They're motivated the minute the sun comes up and they hit the ground running, and I love that. And as a matter of fact, we're also going to take a panel and listen to what other people said on social media about what they thought was the most motivational factors in their life. And you'd be very interested to know what the number one motivational thing was. It was the thing. And so a lot of people shared this, so stay with us and I'll tell you what that is. Very interesting. So some of the things just for me that I use in practice. So there's a great philosopher, and she once said that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Love that lady, Mary Poppins. And I love that concept that if life has its ups and downs, and life, there are times when there's blustery, rainy days, and there's time when there's beautiful, sunshiny, amazing days, or your day off, a free day, right? Those days when you can ever go and do whatever you want, whenever you want. However, we also know there's some wisdom, so there's some things that I have to do, have to get done in order to have those days, right? The give and take. So if I can be mindful throughout those days that I do have to get a few things done and taken care of, so I can get a paycheck, so I can go to the store, so I can feed my kids, so we can go do fun things, then I stay motivated knowing that the work of my hands, the fruit of my labor, the fruit of serving and giving and loving is going to be having a little bit of time for myself. It's kind of like the dangling carrot theory. So if I will come home after I drop off my kids and get the dishes done, then I'll take the rest of the time for myself. And the motivation and the good feeling is that I'm getting my cup of coffee, having my time by myself outside in the garden, these things that I've planted, with that motivation that I clean the kitchen, right? So it's clean, I feel better about it. So that's the motivation for me to wash the dishes. I don't want to wash the dishes. There's some people who might dig it. I don't know. I don't care for it. But I do it, and I don't actually even put that much of a label. I just do it and then reward myself with being able to go outside and doing the things that I enjoy. A garden, that is extremely motivating because you're putting seeds into a garden, and then when you see them come up, it's really exciting. Wow, I planted that. That's awesome. I'll tell you what's really highly motivating is when you're going to have company over, right? When your mother-in-law comes over, or when your best friend comes over and her house is immaculate, you know who you are. Those kinds of things are highly motivational. I get a lot of things done when I know that there's time crunches involved. Otherwise, anybody out there a procrastination master? Right? We'll put it off as long as possible because those things don't give us joy and pleasure. And generally speaking, most people want the joy and the pleasure and the easy. So we do know there's wisdom. If we just look in nature, there's wisdom to know that some of the other things we have to do as well. Some motivating factors for me are just looking at nature. When you go outside and you need some fresh air, that's a really great motivator. And just look and be and feel what it feels like to be in nature. This is a really good meditation in a good way if you're at work or if you're surrounded by a lot of people and you can't kind of get a time to defrag and process what has been going on. And normally, if you're like me or any other person with skin on this planet, we're busy, we're going, we have a lot of things to do. So just taking a time to stop, deep breathing, checking in, or just breathing through the overwhelm will help with anxiety and depression and help keep you on task and not awfulizing or dampening the whole situation as everything is bad. So you just stop, you pull back, and if you were to go into nature right now, or maybe you're outside and you could see the beautiful day that we're having here in Las Vegas, is the first really pretty calm day that we've had in a while. It's been a colder spring for us than normal. So yesterday was really cold and windy. And wind, for me, evokes chaos and cold and that blustery day thing. And that's just a thought concept, and it's based on some of the experience and the patterns that I've had in the past. So if I were to just switch it around and think and meditate and marinate on something else, like the positive aspects of wind, you can actually change the dynamic and the relationship that you have with something as small as wind. And it works like this. You're outside and you notice that, for example, I had this apple tree outside and it has apple blossoms, and the apple blossoms were falling in like, it looked like the petals looked like rain. And it was very, very beautiful. Of course, I love my blossoms. I want them to stay as long as possible. They're very beautiful and enjoyable, and I love watching them every year. But then I realized that when the wind blows in a spring situation like we're having right now, then the seeds and the fruit and everything else that needs to be moved around is moved around. We as humans, we don't like the allergies, we don't like the mold or the pollen or the mulberries and the dirt and the dust. But that is how more beauty is developed, through that maybe day or hour or couple of days of that wind. Or the rain. Everybody has a hard time with rain. There's a book called Weight Loss for the Mind. It's just a small read. Read it. And it mentions that people get out and they're like, it's raining. And really, if you thought it through for just a second, rain is just a little drop of water. It doesn't ruin anything. It's not going to. And if it did, if it was an outfit, really, in the scheme of life, it's not that important, right? Rain, it's just a little wet. Your hair, you might get some frizzy hair. Your hair might not be as pretty, but that's okay. That rain helps. I know in Las Vegas we have one of the lowest rainfall averages in the world. And so when we get a little bit of rain, it's a really beautiful thing. Our Lake Mead is very low right now. And so rain, good thing, right? So you're starting to train your brain to not think of everything so badly or awfulizing, or it's just a downward spiral. Oh, it's raining, it's cold today, I don't really want to go, it's going to be a bad day. That means there's going to be traffic. See, so you get caught in your mind. So some motivational ways to stop that are to go outside, take that break, stop. And if you're also noticing nature, it has this automatic wisdom. It knows when the leaves are to fall, or when those blossoms are to sprout, or when the fruit is to begin to start to be bearing, right? So it just does what it's supposed to naturally. There's no forcing, there's no contriving. There's really no complaining. It's very effortless. Animals and our weather, the nature, our land, it just seems to know what to do, even when there's been disasters, right? Or floods or fires, earthquakes. It just replenishes itself after that. And so if we as people will follow some of those things that are in nature, just naturally happen. If you've had a long day yesterday and it was windy and it was blustery and it was overcast and your didn't want to, and you had a hitch in your get along and you just didn't feel good, then today I would recommend taking a little bit of time just for yourself. Maybe getting that rest, maybe eating healthy, more fruits and vegetables, feeling better about those decisions, drinking more water. And whenever in doubt about your motivation or how you're feeling, breathing is one of the most important things you can do. Stop and taking deep, deep breaths. Breaths that are expanding in your belly all the way up to the top, and then come back down from the top all the way back down to expanding in your belly. Deep, deep breath and getting air. It's amazing how much it changes your outlook when you have some good air. Most people, when you have anxiety or depression, you're shallow breathing, right? So this is a process, and you're not going to start doing this tomorrow, taking into consideration how positive or how negative you're going to be. It's something that you're going to continue to do for a lifetime, and when you catch yourself going off the path of negativity, you're just going to gently and carefully bring yourself back to that. So how I teach my clients, let's say I work with a lot of kids. So we think in terms of, think about the way that you talk to yourself all day. Did you recognize that you're talking to yourself all day, right? I mean, we're just going down the street. We don't even notice how much is going in and out of this head, right? So we're taking in all the beta of what's going on around us, the radio, the cell phone, all these information is coming in, all this information is coming in. And so, but in the back of our mind, we still have thought processes occurring that are just natural. You can't stop it. You can't stop your brain. But think about, listen, marinate, be aware of what kind of thoughts are going in and out of your head. Just driving down the street. Now, you're on autopilot in that point. And most people go into an alpha state, which is more of a concentrated thought process. So in that state, some things might just happen naturally, right? Have you ever driven down the street and you were supposed to take a right and you've driven down that street so many times you took a left, right? So in those situations, you can see how you kind of go on autopilot. So if you were to listen to yourself or record your thinking, what is your thinking like if you're just normal circumstance driving down the street, walking down the street, right? Brushing your teeth in the morning, right? Start listening to your self-talk. And is it negative? Are you putting a wet blanket on the day? Are you being mean to yourself? Are you talking negatively about yourself or others? So start to notice. Now, we're not going to beat ourselves up about that. We're just going to start to notice, because if most of the time you're knocking things, you're not caring for the situation, you say, for example, let's just take, for example, you're in the line at the grocery store, right? And what is the first thing? Oh, that person doesn't have 15 items. Or these lines are way too long. Don't they have someone else in here who can come over here to this check stand? Ah, I forgot my coupon. That was $1. Or I hope they don't forget these coupons. You know how they peel them off when you get into the line. So that kind of thought process, rather than here's a new way you can start just being aware of what you're thinking about. I am so grateful that I had the time to come to the store. I'm so grateful I got a basket, that the wheel is not wibbly wobbly. I am so grateful that this is just a little bit of time to myself and I have a list and I'm prepared. I'm so grateful I got to meal plan. You know what? Here's one even better. I am so grateful that I'm able to get groceries. There are other people that don't have groceries, that are not able to go to the store and get the things they need. Not just what you want. I'm just so grateful and thankful. And then you can begin to get your mind off of you and your things and start looking at other people. And maybe there's someone you could smile at. You know, there's always kids at the grocery store, right? Instead of thinking, yelling, screaming, kids, I want this, I want that. You could maybe even, smile. Smile at the kid, right? Wave. How many people, kids wave at you and we don't wave back? Wave at the kids. Or even the person who's helping you bag the groceries. Thank you. You did a really great job. So those are just some ways that you can turn maybe the negative experience of being in a crowded grocery store, you have to get it done and hurry, always in a hurry, and maybe just relish it, be grateful and thankful for that time. That's another thing that is very motivational, is taking your time. So if you know that you don't feel motivated and you are off course and you're not feeling connected as you need to be, when you're in a hurry, you feel out of sorts and you feel overwhelmed. Motivating is getting up a little bit earlier, maybe going to bed a little earlier, and getting up when the alarm clock goes off instead of hitting snooze 2 or 3 times. Getting up, and before you get up, motivating factor is thinking about the kind of day you want, not what you don't want, not the things that you don't want to happen or that you know that you're going to be facing if you have a meeting at 9 a.m. sharp, or you have to be somewhere and you know there's a lot of traffic that day, or just change the perspective. For me, I think about how I want my coffee to be, and that's really motivating, is coffee before you get out of bed, right? Thinking about your coffee. I think about how I want to be around other people. I think about how I want it to be easy and effortless, and how there are people that are just going to show up that'll be Kesmet that I need to see, and maybe they need to see me. So engagements, opportunities to meet with new people. So thinking about that, or thinking about when my kids get home and how I want to be with them as well, or with my clients, or with my husband, or my friends, if I'm going to make time for that. So those are motivating factors. Something else that's really motivating, take a trip. When is the last time you booked a trip and you got a getaway? Even a staycation, that's very, very motivating. We all need breaks. Spring break is always, and it can never be more perfect, right? We always need a spring break. Another really great motivating factor for me is music. So everybody has a motivational song. Under Pressure, for me, Queen, that's a great one. Art, looking at beautiful art and the way that people were inspired and they're so gifted, seeing that is really motivating for me to want to do some of my life plans. Another one is a book. Really good books. The Four Agreements, a really good book. There's some other books, The Happiness Project, or even books that teach you how to write down the things that you're grateful for and the things that motivate you and make you feel good for the day. Something that we talked about before the show, one of the really great motivating factors of my life is failure. When I have failed and I didn't deliver and I didn't do as good as I could have, and someone calls me on it, or I see the ramifications of that, the consequences of that, it's a real motivating factor to do better next time. You ever get evaluations at work and it wasn't that great? Well, it's not meant to put you down or push you down. Those are meant to help you get better. Evaluations aren't shining the light on your failures. They're able to help you to look at the things that you didn't do so great and make those things better, make yourself better. There is nothing more motivating in your life or for the lives of others who are around you that watch you as an example than you getting better and better every single day. We love winning stories, don't we? Tiger Woods winning, right? We love winning stories, especially when that person has been knocked down negative levels. And it's funny because there's a song that they love to kick you when you're down too. We love Dirty Laundry, don't we? We watching people fall. And what I love about my job as a counselor is the resiliency of human beings is a marvel. I marvel at people who just continue to get up every day and do it again and again and again. You can knock me down. That wind can hold me back. It can be a rainy day. I didn't have coffee. Everybody was rude to me at the grocery store. And you know what? I'm going to go home, put my groceries up, go back, and start again tomorrow. That's how much courage and motivation you have. Get up and do it again. I marvel. There are some client populations that are more endearing to me, some of the things that they go through, that it's so highly motivational. People who've been through major trauma and learning to replace those fear thoughts and that fear-based lifestyle to learning slowly but surely how to begin to say yes to life more and make your brain say, I am safe. Mantras are a really great way to change that motivation. I am safe. Here's a great mantra I read yesterday, and this is from Elena Fairchild. I accept the offer of life that I am truly living. I accept the offer of life that I am truly living. And I can trust life. That's a really great mantra. So it's beginning to come out of the anxiety and fear thought process and depression, everything is awful, and bad things have happened to me and I'm staying there, to just starting at a neutral point that day and saying, you know what, but today is my day. I get a day today. We can't take that lightly. That is, if that's not a huge motivating factor for you, we've got to reassess life. The next breath that we have is a motivating factor. So if you get a day, which is today, you get a day, everybody gets a day today, and everybody gets to choose what they're going to do and how they're going to have this day and be motivated in that day. How are you going to make that day? It's a gift. So motivating factor would be to think about the positive things of that day, the positive aspects of just getting to live another day. Very when you see people who don't have mobility. I work with clients who have had injuries and they are in wheelchairs. When you consider how hard your hands have worked and how many miles your feet have taken you, isn't that motivational? And the people who are not walking right now, they don't have mobility. I've seen some of those clients literally rehabilitate with positive thoughts and go from a wheelchair to walking on a cane because of the motivating factor of I want to run again, I want to walk again. So it gives you more perspective of how to motivate yourself. Going on Friday to work with my nephew at the Las Vegas Rescue Mission. That Las Vegas Rescue Mission, by the way, feeds 500 people lunches or dinners every day. These people feed the homeless, and they've been doing it for over 50 years, the Las Vegas Rescue Mission here in Las Vegas. And so I'm going to go there with him, and he's been working in the homeless population for a while. And some of the stories and some of the inspiration and some of the motivation that he comes in contact with are so beautiful. So I want to go as well and be a part of that and serving and giving and helping you have a better perspective of having a roof over your head. And so the next time you're doing dishes, be grateful and thankful that you have dishes in a house and maybe even a dishwasher or water. There's so many people in other countries that don't even have water. So I'm hoping I'm stressing the point that there is so much not only for us to be grateful for, but for us to be motivated to do better the next day. And if you're not content with your life and you don't like where you are, I want to say this is for you. Congratulations. That's the best thing that could happen to you, to have the understanding of this is not what I want. I want to do something different. And that is motivation, doing something different, and you have the power, you have the key, and you have the tools. So I'm going to talk about a few more tools. We're going to take a small break. When we come back on Good Medicine, I'm going to give you some resources. We're going to go to our panel, what other people said on social media of what motivates them. And looking and asking and seeking what motivates others is another good way to be motivated. And listen to Good Medicine every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on WWDB TV. Stay with us.
Daddy!
All right, dads, it's your turn. Pony fail.
You're not good at this.
Use a pipe cleaner and twist around the base of the ponytail until it's snug and daughter approved. Draw roads onto the back of an old t-shirt. Lay down and have kids roll their cars all over you for a relaxing deep tissue massage. Can't find where mom hit the matches? Use uncooked spaghetti in your stove to light a candle for what we assume is a romantic dinner for mom, right? Don't let your kid stop you from reaching level 20. Remove the batteries from his controller so he can be your best sidekick. Use insoles from old shoes to show kids proper foot placement so they can hit it out of the park. After practice, store small balls in a painter's bucket with a handle for easy carrying, and large balls in a mesh laundry bag that you can toss in the trunk. Beer getting warm? Place cut pool noodles around a plastic container, fill with ice, and you've got an instant floating cooler. Kids don't want to wait. For tough plastic packaging, use a can opener to easily cut through and release the toys. Pick up the newspaper to clean dirty windows without leaving residue or lint behind. You don't have time to read the paper anyway. Toys taking over the floor? Wrap your thin dress sock around a vacuum hose to instantly collect those tiny toys. Kids keep asking too.
Push me! Push me!
Use an unplugged extension cord to extend your reach.
Please!
That's what we call working smarter, not harder.
Please!
All right, dads, we love you. Now use these hacks wisely. We won't tell mom where you got them.
Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine.
Hi, I'm Holly Davis, and this is Good Medicine, and today is the Motivation Show. So, motivational factor for a consensus that I did on social media. I went to a few different sites, and guess what the number one motivational factor was for most people? The sunshine. Oh, happy day, sunshine. Yeah, sunshine. Why are you looking at me like that? You didn't like my singing? But he does look at me like that all the time. JPEG. Yes, he had an RB F. So it's sunshine. Think about how many songs have been created around a sun. Sunshine, sunshine on the water makes me happy, on my shoulder makes me smile, right? So or think about how many pieces of art have the sun. Or even if it's an overcast day, aren't we so excited when there's just even a ray of sunshine? We want to capture that. So sunshine was very, very motivational. And as a matter of fact, we do know that some people suffer from more depression when they live in places that are more overcast and more rainy. That probably isn't true for Hawaii because it does rain there quite often, but the sunshine is beautiful when it's shining, right? So you get a little bit of the good with the bad. And that brings me to another point, and that's joy and pain. When we think about the things that bring us motivation, the joy that we love in life, you can't have the joy and the motivation without the knockdowns and the pain. These are all normal. And we wouldn't know how much joy that we have if we didn't experience the painful things that we've experienced in life. So those all come together. That is the idea and the concept of resiliency. The spoonful of sugar of knowing that tomorrow might be a rough day for me because I know I have a lot of things scheduled, a lot of clients scheduled and work scheduled. So I know that after that, I reward myself with knowing I give myself a couple of hours in the afternoon to defrag. Right? Even in the military, we have defrag times of when we've been through some storms. Or if you've been through your own life's storms, give yourself some time to defrag and to process all of the things that you went through and how courageous you were and what the choices that you made. And there are no mistakes. Those are things that we can learn from because even in our failures, highly motivational to do things different and to teach other people to do those things differently. When we've learned something that has value to us, share it with others. Isn't that motivational? And it is so inspiring. People have such a resilient spirit. There's another homework assignment here that I want to give you, and that is just target some of those behaviors that you have that don't bring you happiness and keep you unsatisfied and they're not motivational. If there are some habits in your life, just take an assessment of what those are and change them. Maybe getting up late, or maybe not drinking enough water, or maybe some deep ones. I'm drinking too much alcohol, or I'm overeating, or I'm over shopping, or I'm being isolative. I'm not spending time with my friends and family. I just want to be left alone. Some of those behaviors, or just my negative thinking, my negative thought process, how mean I am to myself. I'm so fat, I'm so dumb, I'm so ugly. Start listening to that and target those behaviors. And when you hear it, just be aware. We're not beating ourselves up. Oh, so stupid, I did it again. No, we're not doing that. We're just going to be aware. And then we're going to reframe it. No, I'm not stupid. No, I'm not ugly. No, you know what? I got pushed and pressured, and I'm under a lot of pressure. So you start giving yourself a little bit of credit of all the things that you do. And there's also this resistance that we have in life. I don't want to be fat, or I don't want to be broke. I want my paychecks to be full. I don't want my bank account to be empty. Instead of thinking in those ways, you can start to begin to, yes, have the wisdom and do what it takes to get you in a place where you're on rock solid ground. And you probably know the steps to take, or you could ask for help in some of those situations. Asking for help is highly motivational because it's more than likely there are people who do want to help you. But asking for help is motivational, and so is falling into life instead of resisting it. So maybe I don't like the way that my body is right now, but I am so grateful and thankful that my body gave me 5 beautiful children, right? So washboard abs, I'm okay with not having washboard abs. I have 5 beautiful children. Or I'm just so grateful and thankful for the hair texture I have. Everybody wants curly hair if you have straight hair, and straight hair. Thank God I have hair. And, so there's ways that we can start thinking about reframing the things that are in life. So maybe it's not perfect, but you know what? It is what it is. And sometimes just simple acceptance is also very motivating. So that is your homework, is just to target some of the behaviors you don't like, be aware of some of your thinking, and then reframe it. Think of it a different way. Have somebody help you come up with a different way to think about the things in your life that you're not excited about and not motivated about, and help them think of other ways to motivate you to change those things. I do have a meditation that I use with my clients, and this meditation is really easy. You can just remember the 3, 6, and 12-month strategy for motivating your life. So what you would do is you would get in a quiet place, maybe go outside, get some fresh air, calm yourself down. Always calm your breathing and be aware. Just tapping into the breathing that you're doing and noticing, I've got bated breath, I'm jittery, I'm jumpy, I'm how I'm doing, I'm checking in. Great thing to do every single solitary day, a few times a day, instead of thinking awful thoughts. Check in. How am I? How am I doing? And then begin to think about and process where you're at and the things that you don't like. And you can think about what would happen in my life. Maybe even close your eyes so you're not thinking about the beta and everything that's going on. But maybe close your eyes so you can be there at home with self, because this is the most comfortable place that you can be, and motivating place is right here. And then when you do that, think about, what would it be like? What would it feel like? What would the experience be in my life if I wasn't motivated and I didn't find the motivation that I need? And if you seek, you will find. You will get inspired. And it doesn't change 3 months from now. Take that in for a second. And what if I don't get motivated and change those things? Now, I know it's a little more difficult when you have depression and anxiety, but it's not impossible, because our brain is like a muscle, and we can work and rework and change it to begin to start thinking more positively to elevate our moods. I promise you it works. What would happen in 6 months from now? You didn't change anything and you felt those feelings of not changing and staying stuck. There's really nothing more unsavory in life, right? Nothing more undesirable than staying. And then 12 months from now, what is today? The 23rd? Wow, I can't believe it's the 23rd of April next year, right? 2020 next year? Wow. April the 22nd, 2020 next year. Wow, this is really a good number. Write it down. Think about it. If this time next year, 4/22 in 2020, everything is exactly the same, and feel how that feels. It's okay to feel that feeling of being stuck. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like that. Allow yourself that time to process it. Now, the new meditation, still with eyes closed, maybe even wash that off. Think about how great, how good, how amazing, how wonderful, how delightful would it be if 3 months from now I actually kicked that smoking habit, or the gambling, or I drank less or began to not have alcohol at all as a coping mechanism for myself? Or how about, what if 3 months from now I got $1 raise an hour? Or 3 months from now I am looking at turning my ship around into a career field that I enjoy, that I want to do. It's not contingent upon a paycheck. It's something I would enjoy doing. This process is slow, but I'm starting to make a change. Or what about 6 months from now? Maybe you lost 5 pounds or 1 pound. Hey, 1 pound, I'll take it, right? But you just began to eat better and drink more water and get more sleep and just simply feel better. Think about what that feels like in your life. And then 1 year from now, 4/22/2020, next year, what would it be like if you had a few of those motivating factors in your life, some of those goals, and you were actually beginning to live them? Not just talk about them, or never even giving yourself the ability to think about it, not even allowing yourself to dream or think about being motivated and having a life that says yes. Remember that quote, I accept the offer of life. I'm truly going to live. Instead of saying no, or I can't, or I won't, they won't. It's not. Stopping that and starting the I do want to live. And next year, I am going to be living better. And guess what? Better is better. As one of my dear friends says all the time, better is better. So it is time to build. Our brain exercises are starting to stop thinking as much about the things that we don't like and start thinking about, dreaming about living the life that we want to live. Just start taking the steps. Here are some resources for you. Anything by B.L. Fredrickson. There's an article or a book that he wrote, is What Are Good Emotions? And start thinking about the things that really do motivate me. I'm going to give you a couple things on the consensus here of what other people said besides sunshine. There were some people who said, of course, the sunshiny days make me so happy. A lot of people said God. A lot of people said children. Children are highly motivating because when you don't have enough money, oh boy, you will be working double time and triple time to make sure that they have everything that they need. And you're not always just thinking about yourself. So yes, children are highly motivational. Other people said money. You know, having a good paycheck and proving others wrong. That was one of my favorites too. Proving others wrong. It's very motivational. I know I probably did a lot of that. Oh yeah? Watch me. Highly motivational. Some other people just said self-growth. This one I thought was really interesting was my ancestors. Very motivational, thinking about your forefathers who went before you, thinking about how they would think about you. And I'll tell you one of the other things that I feel it's highly important that you get this, very motivational, is stop thinking about what others think about you. What Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or any of those illusional worlds, or even your friends or family or the people that you don't even know, that don't even affect your life, what they think about is not as important as what you think about and how you're motivational. It doesn't matter what other people think, it's what you find very motivational, is highly motivational. Another friend of mine said, my motivation is to make my 12-year-old self proud. I love that one. I want to make my 12-year-old self proud. That was Sonia Jackson. I love you. You're hilarious. And then I want to read this closing part to you. I wrote this down, and I want to read it to you word for word, verbatim, because it's so important that you get this on the Motivational Show on Good Medicine, okay? When we're building our lives, it does take motivation and inspiration to keep going and courage, right? But I want you to understand it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. It takes a lifetime, because really it's a lifetime process that we can celebrate where we are right now. Because if you were done, you'd be bored, right? If you were completely done and satisfied with everything that you wanted to accomplish in life and you'd already been the most motivating factor in the world, right? You know, that would be the end for you, right? What else can you do if you've always been motivated every single day? It's finding that. That is the journey, right? So no one has ever said, yes, I am done with all my creativity, purpose, and passion. And if they did, they'd be on a rocking chair ready for what is next. The next life, right? We're never done creating. One day at a time. And today is your day. You're off on your way, right? More creativity in the process, more clearing, organizing, prayer, resting, and doing this one day at a time, just getting through the day that you have and being grateful and thankful for all the things that you accomplished, or the things that you didn't do, or the things that didn't happen that you can look forward to and be motivated to expect might just happen tomorrow. So with that, we are Good Medicine. I'm Holly Davis, and I am here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on WWDB TV. It is a prescription for your soul. So if this show impacted your life and it was something that motivated you just a little, then be a friend and share it with someone else who you know needs motivation, or even just call them. If there's somebody that you're thinking about that needs motivation today, be that motivation and call them today. I'm Holly Davis, and my website is WWDBTV. It's www.hollydaviscounseling.com. Bye.